Welcome back into the Star V podcast alongside Joe Bulovas. I'm your host, Billy Derrick, here on the Believe Podcast Network. This week, we've got Isaia Glass, Vanderbilt offensive lineman, joining us here this evening. It's recording on a Sunday, but we'll be putting this out on a Monday night. So looking forward, obviously, to Vanderbilt's bowl game, the Reliaquest Bowl. We'll talk, obviously, about that, and obviously some of the Heisman chances for Diego Pavia. Obviously, unfortunately, not a playoff berth, but a lot to get into here. And first off, we'll introduce Isaia Glass, Vanderbilt offensive lineman here on the show. Transferred, of course, from Oklahoma State. Spent some time at Arizona State as well. Isaia, thank you for taking the time, my man. I know you guys are busy, obviously, with preparing for finals. You got some bowl prep getting going as well, but appreciate you taking the time, man.
Yep. Thanks for having me. Super appreciative of it. And look forward to talking to you guys.
So, and I know we've got, like, I think I told you, we're going to kind of rotate here with questions. I've got a bunch because we haven't had an offensive lineman on yet. We've had, we've had what, Joe, receiver, DB. I guess we had a former tight end. So we've kind of been around the map a little bit. But with the offensive line at Vanderbilt, I'm interested in sort of your process of getting here. And I do want to eventually go back to some of your high school days as well. But we talked off air that, typically, I mean, I'm sure you've heard of Vanderbilt, but Vanderbilt obviously has not historically been a big time football destination. But for you coming out of Oklahoma State as a portal guy, you've entered your name in the portal, I think, as a grad transfer. And so, you're looking at your stops and where you may want to go play. What stood out to you about Vanderbilt? Obviously, I would assume Coach K is involved there, but Vanderbilt, I'm interested when it comes to transfers. What stood out to the transfers about Vanderbilt coming into this season?
Yeah, I mean, like getting in the portal obviously was my second time, so I kind of already went through the whole thing of it. And the portal, I mean, the portal is always I feel like a great place if you need it and you can take advantage of it to better situation and whatnot. But typically, I mean, the portal is crazy, so like I really didn't want to be in there for that long. Like some guys probably like to take their time, whatnot, which is often you don't rush a decision. But like I said, I feel like just since I already been in the portal the first time, I knew what it was. I knew what I was looking for. Number one thing was just like situation. Obviously, if I'm not playing, none of it really matters at the end of the day. So like good situation to play. Um, and like a good old line coach that can develop me. And because I'm only gonna be here for 1 year, so like who I really thought could help me improve as much as possible within 10, 11 months or whatever. And like I said, those are really big things. Obviously, NIL is a factor, but everywhere now has NIL kind of thing. So like I said, that's always a plus, but everyone kind of has the same thing to a degree. But the big thing was, I said, it was situation, and Vanderbilt had a good situation. And then also, like we said, I don't know, I mean, obviously you probably know, but like we rotate our sides, our O linemen based off the strength of the call and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot, and no one else does that. Typically, like if you'd have asked me in the past would I want to do that, I probably said no. Like I feel like that would mess me up. But just where I was at in my career, um, I felt like it would be a challenge. But if I could benefit and take advantage of it, it could help. It could help me out a lot more than hurt me. So that's something that I kind of banked on. And then, like I said, just sitting down when I came here for, it was my first visit. I only went on 2 visits. I shut it down early, but just watching film with Coach K, kind of seeing the vision, seeing how the offense is. I feel like our offense is super O line friendly. It really caters to our O line. Um, and yeah, I feel like I just saw the vision. Obviously, like I was watching Vanderbilt last season, kind of seeing how they were doing and whatnot. And I mean, obviously Diego's something special. And yeah, just a place where I felt like I could really be a factor in helping us. We wanted to win a national championship. It's not going to happen anymore since we didn't make the playoffs. But really, just like I said, change the culture out here. And like I said, I guess it was the first 10-win season ever. So one of the best seasons ever
Mm-hmm.
at Vanderbilt. So hopefully we can make that 11 and keep it going.
Yeah, man,
Not too
dude.
shabby there.
No, no, not at all. But you talk about changing the culture. It's been a long, steady process to get to where you guys are now, and you have a lot to do with that, especially in the offensive line room. Talk to me a little bit about how that room has come about from, day one. You had a lot of new faces coming in, and really just making a masterful piece to put out every Saturday, man. You guys have done a phenomenal job of dictating the terms, dictating the line of scrimmage, and it's been a whole lot of fun to watch you guys play. But kind of talk to me about that position room from when you came in to up to this point.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it all starts with our coaches. I mean, we have really good O-line coaches with Coach K and Coach Nady, and then like our assistants and whatnot. So it all starts with them. I mean, they're really good coaches. Coach K is definitely like one of the smartest O-line coaches I've ever been a part of. Um, and I mean, he's old school. He's super old school, and I feel like he just instills like that toughness with us. Um, but yeah, I mean, and then as far as our O linemen, we got like a bunch of random we got a bunch of like random guys that came from different spots in different areas. Like I said, Coach Lee likes to throw around like the word misfits. I feel like that really applies to us. Um, 'Cause I think all of our starting five were all transfers. So we have
Yep.
guys from South Dakota State, two from Liberty, K's from Minnesota, and then I came from Oklahoma State. So yeah, I mean, I feel like it's kind of hard to hit on that many transfers and have success, but um, man, our group is just so unique and so different, and our O line room is so fun. Like everyone's so different, but everyone just is just true to themselves and like they act how they act, and we just mesh really well. Like I feel like we all just bond over just the hard work we put in. Like we take pride in what we did like in the off season and when we first got here in February. I heard the guy saying that like before workouts, the O line we go out and we hit the sled before workouts by ourselves. I was like, what?
Hell yeah.
And they're like, yeah, every workout we're hitting the sled. And sure enough, before every workout, we're out there early before everyone even gets there. We're hitting the 5 minute sled together. And then the days we aren't working out, we're meeting. We're meeting together. So like, and that's every day. Like, and then the standard doesn't change. Like Coach K's the same as he was that day as he is today. And even it was snowing. We're out there hitting the sled, working. So, I mean, just like little stuff like that. Like we're all so different, but we all bonded and got close over the hard work that we did. And like I said, I think this is probably the best chemistry I've ever been on with the O line, and like I said, we all only know each other for 10 months, so it's actually it's really crazy how it all worked out.
Well, it's interesting. You mentioned the quick guard, strong guard, quick tackle, strong tackle. It's so unique, and I'm glad that people have been able to sort of realize that. I think one of the games on TV that I think it was Jesse Palmer it was LSU game, did a really good job of explaining that. And I think it's big games like that, and like I don't even know any other schools, Joe, Isaiah, that utilize that. I mean,
I can't name one off the top of my head. I don't know.
Yeah, so I think that's really unique. And at Arizona State, obviously played, blocked in front of a running quarterback. Jaden Daniels, obviously, who's in the NFL now, a lot of success. Went to Oklahoma State. When you got to Vanderbilt, how much of a learning curve was that for you? You mentioned some, maybe 2-3 years before you would have been a little bit more hesitant to join a system like this, but you were eager, you jumped in, and that's got to be a lot to learn.
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of like trained both ways, like in practice and whatnot, like or my off-season training, and then last year at Oklahoma State, due to some injuries, I ended up starting games at both left and right tackle throughout the season, just to kind of help out when guys went down. So there was, like I said, I was kind of last year was the year I did it the most, so I think that's why I maybe felt most comfortable because I started at games at both, and yeah, like I said, like it's like I said, it's definitely unique, um, but like I said, I feel like it could be an advantage if you take advantage. I mean, if you capitalize on it and you get used to both sides. So like I said, spring ball was a little weird getting used to it, but now like when left to right is really whatever. Like it's not even a thing anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Gotcha.
Joe, it's like, I mean, because Joe's a kicker. I'm trying to think of a kicker comparison there, like for an offensive lineman. But like, on the surface, I don't know what it would be, but that's it's a credit to you guys, but also Coach K. And we've talked a ton about Coach K and his impact, and just the coaching staff in general. Coach Nady, not to mention him as well. The Joe and I have talked about how incredible the coaching staff is. I mean, it's hard to ignore that.
Yeah, like I said, we got a really. I think Coach K and Coach Nitty like is a really good combination, especially because like, as I said, Coach K super old school. Like he's hard nosed. Like he knows it. We all know it. Everyone knows it. Like that's what he's known for, being old school. He's not changing a thing. That's how it is. And then Coach Nady played for Coach K, so he had it worse probably than we did. So he understands what we're
Yeah.
going through, but also has like the newer school aspect, more different, techniques and whatnot, or but they're a good mix, they're a good combo, and yeah, I mean yeah, I'm really grateful that I have both of them, and I feel like it's really elevated my game. Kind of said, Coach Nady, you can kind of what I'm saying, work those newer techniques or whatever, but at the end of the day, Coach K kind of sets the tone and sets the foundation for us.
Yeah, man. Like I said before, it's been really impressive to see you guys work and show out every Saturday, man. But on a little bit lighter note, if you had, hey, have you ever done that? What's that burger place that does the big time like challenge? Like, oh gosh, oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Anyways, scratch that. If you've got to, tackle an eating competition, say at Hattie B's or whatnot. Which O line guy are you taking with you to knock down that challenge?
Dude, we got some eaters, bro.
Yeah, I know. That's why I
Oh
asked. I thought it'd be a
gosh.
good brain stimulator there.
I'm probably taking Orion Irving, the one ours
Okay.
Steph Houston transfer. He can put down some food. Chase Mitchell, he can put down some food. Shoot, Gunnar Givens, he can. I don't know. We got some. I don't know. They can put down, bro. Those guys are actually crazy. Um, I
Yeah,
don't know
they'll
how
put
they
out
do it.
Well,
those
hey,
mall Chinese shops out of business.
Yeah, like they're
Run
different.
them dry.
I probably wouldn't be a good pick, honestly. I feel like I'm not. A lot of my eating is like force feeding, just trying to maintain or trying to gain. But those guys can throw down. I don't know. We have some good. I'm taking Orion off the top of my head, but we got we got some guys that can throw down for sure.
well, Joe, as the VP of Pancake Communications at Cracker Barrel, I mean, Isaiah knows what it's about. If you check
Yeah,
out
yeah,
check out.
okay, yeah, yeah. So how
Yeah.
many, if you're going to Cracker Barrel, how many pancakes are you typically putting down? And not the mini ones, the real ones.
Dude, probably only like three, maybe.
Those are big.
That's a pretty good number though.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
if I'm hungry, three. But yeah, dude, like I said, a lot of like I eat like a girl sometimes, dude. But I gotta. I mean, I gotta maintain. So I'm forcing myself to
Yeah.
eat 24/7.
Yeah. Well, then, if it's not strictly just pancakes, what was like your typical, Cracker Barrel order on a Sunday brunch? 9:30
Ooh.
o'clock, and you're like, "Hey, we're going to Cracker Barrel," and without even looking at the menu, what are you getting?
Dude, I'm so basic. I'm like a chicken tenders guy. But if I
Oh
want to if I
no!
want to switch it up, I might go with the meatloaf.
Yeah,
But I'm
It's
super
good.
basic, dude. I'm super basic.
that
The
reminds
chicken
me of Miss
fried
Lauren,
steak.
man. All she wants is some chicken tendies and fries, and maybe a side of ranch.
There you go.
That's about as crazy as it gets.
Can't go wrong with that.
On that note, NIL, you guys have these NIL, packages and deals pop up on Instagram and Twitter and things. Obviously, Diego, I think, had Raising Cane's last year. You've seen more players, whether it's Eli, and I mean, seems like a lot of the team, and it's all around the country, right? It's if you're not investing in your NIL collective as a football team, especially in the SEC, you're behind the eight ball. And obviously, just a couple of years ago, Clark Lee, Barton Simmons, everybody involved had sort of made that shift to investing and making those conversations. And it's not easy, right? You've got to. It's sort of that NFL type model. But
Mhm.
how has that impacted your career, Isaiah, and impact your decision making when you're in the portal? Because look, it's Joe and I have talked about it. It's sort of the way of the world now.
Yeah, I mean, it's it can be a lot at times because like off. I mean, obviously, like we play the game that we love. That we grew up as kids, want to play, whatnot, and we all want to play at the next level. And with that comes a good amount of money and whatnot, and obviously now you can make a good amount of money in college. And I mean, like I said, the portal is kind of hard sometimes because sometimes you're getting thrown pretty good numbers. And like I said, at the end of the day, it's not about the money, but like it's sometimes it's almost ignorant to not make it a big factor. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, like it's dumb to be like, oh, like it's not about that at all. Like, at the end of the day, like you can better off your family's life in so many different ways and set yourself up for after college and whatnot. So I said, at the end of the day, yeah, it is a big factor, and it's definitely changed my life, a tremendous amount. And like I said, luckily I just have really good parents that help me and guide me, to be smart with it and whatnot, and with different investments and whatnot, and just just not just blow it on dumb stuff, and just inform me about taxes and all the above. So, yeah, like I said, it's definitely huge, and it's also nice just like taking care of the guys. Like going out to eat with a bunch of the dudes, and you like, hey,
Mhm.
I'll cover it all, or we'll sometimes we'll just take turns or paying for the food, or just like little different things, or like a lot of times like just like Jordan White, he got his fourth SEC lineman of the week, so I got him a little gift. Nice little gift for that. But just like little cool stuff like that, like you're able to do and not really worry about it too much. And yeah, man, it's definitely crazy. But it's just how college football is now. So it's like you might as well embrace it instead of trying to run from it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy. You say that word crazy. It's kind of insane. But like being at a place like Vanderbilt, you mentioned kind of learning about the tax side of it, and
Mm,
that's Joe's world. Like Vanderbilt,
mm,
there's probably not, I mean, there's other places that have some really really good resources, but that can also be a pull for getting kids out of the portal and getting even high school kids. Of you're in Nashville, you've got it's a huge business hub. It's sort of that Dallas feel, and even like a Charlotte. A lot of these SEC schools are not in
yeah,
none of them are in a big city like Nashville. I mean, nothing
yeah,
compares to Nashville and those resources there. So that's something that, if you're Clark Lee, if you're really any coach or administrator at Vanderbilt, like that's something you can tap into. And I'm sure for you, as a guy that first year at Vanderbilt, and then now you'll be looking towards an NFL career, you got to imagine that has helped, just having sort of those types of resources around.
100%. 100%. Like I said, the resources is crazy. Like, there's no SEC team that's in a place like Nashville. And then even if like just like the networking out here is crazy. The amount of people I've met that are owners of certain things, or the real estate developers, or I just met crazy people out here in Nashville, and just even like being at Vanderbilt, like it's wild, and definitely like take advantage of it. And I think people, as what I'm saying, like Vandy continues to be on the rise, people will realize how much value there is in being here. It's actually nuts.
Jeff?
Yeah, man, I can't speak to that enough because like the resources we had at Vanderbilt, even when I was there, was really something out of out of this world.
Yeah.
And
Well, for
one
you, I
thing
mean
about Van,
that's a big reason for you, Joe. I mean, you've talked about like that's a big reason that I mean, you played at Alabama, of course, but like, you know, and you've said it, like you were at every home game this year. I think one or two road games. Like that's sort of those relationship building aspects of the
yeah.
program is kind of what kept you involved.
Yeah, I mean that's what kept me back. Actually coming back to Nashville originally in the first place was just I had such an amazing experience at Vandy. I came across so many great people that I wanted to work hard for when I was playing for them, and playing around those coaches, and they worked hard out of respect for me and the guys next to them. And when you're around so many great people, you kind of feel like this pull back to something like that. It's so hard to find, true down to earth people who have your best interests at heart. That's hard to find these days in a world that's so transactional. And at Vandy, I've always commended them for being, and Coach Lee's talked about this several times, but being transformational rather than transactional. So, but the resources at Vandy are second to none. They have been that way for a long time, but they're getting even better. They're evolving with
Mhm.
the nature of the game, and it's really awesome to see Vanderbilt taking that initiative to be out in front rather than playing catch up. But man, so what the next couple weeks look like leading up to the bowl game? I know we got a little bit of time. What's been the messaging from Coach Lee? Obviously we didn't get into the playoff. I think that's a wholly different thing. We could sit on this podcast and talk for about 6 hours about all that nonsense. But what's been the messaging? What's the mood on the team? How are guys responding to this? And what is their outlook from here on out?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like I said, Coach Lee even kind of talked about it today at our team meeting. Like, the push has been the playoffs the past week or two. Like, we've been pushing for it. We've been, doing all the social media things, just trying to, I guess, push for it as much as we can and whatnot. It is, we wanted it. We wanted it bad. And at the end of the day, like Coach Lee kind of talked about it, we didn't do enough to get it. So we didn't win those 2 games. That's on us. And, this is what it is. And at the end of the day, we get an opportunity to go to this bowl game, play Iowa, and get 11 wins in the season. So, we're kind of also say, yeah, we're upset about the playoffs, but we're going to shift our focus to the bowl game and start prepping this. We have practice this week. And yeah, like I said, we're kind of shifting our focus. We're obviously the easy thing to do is just be upset and let that, derail you, or maybe not care about the bowl game. But no, I think we want to make a statement, and yeah, I mean, we're excited. Like I said, it is what it is. Can't do anything about it. All I gotta do is just lock in on Iowa, and that's our focus for the next, I don't know, 3 weeks or whatnot. So yeah.
Well, that's a hell of an answer, man. Are you prepping for those NFL interviews?
Dude, I don't know. Not yet. Not yet. I mean, I'll have to.
Because that would have been a pretty darn good response if they asked
Yeah.
about, that situation. You got it all mapped out.
Very business-like.
Dude, I don't know. Yeah, I gotta start prepping for that sooner or later. But I don't know. I guess we'll see.
You mentioned
Yeah.
Diego earlier, and I mean, you can't talk about this program and the success they've had. Obviously, not just this year, but last year in the build without talking about him. But you guys are such a part of that. And you mentioned how this offense sort of is catered, obviously, to Diego and the quarterback, but the offensive line as well. You get it. When you watch Diego, you watch those runs, whether it's him or any of the running backs. I mean, especially in Knoxville, like those were. You could have drove Mack trucks through some of those holes, and that was a common thing this year. The run early against Alabama, Cedric's run. Like, what's it like blocking for Diego? Whether it's pass pro, whether it's a design run, but also the running backs, like the Missouri play where you guys I don't know if you were on the side that pulled, but you guys had the 2 guys on the right side pulled to the left. Yeah. And that's rare. I mean, that's got to be rare because I saw that on replay, and then there goes MK because Pavia read the fake out to the left side. Just the run schemes are pretty crazy to watch, and there's a reason why you guys have had so much success on the ground. But what is it like, especially I guess run specifically within this offense when there's probably some plays where you hear and you're like, man, I can't wait to block for this one.
Yeah, I mean, like before we even started like Diego, I mean, like I said, our Coach Beck and Coach K, those dudes are like wizards when it comes to offensive game planning and schematics and whatnot. So they have a play for everything. They have a play for every look, every situation, every blitz, every pressure. And then Diego's the mastermind out there that, he'll check into a different run play if he sees a pressure, or he'll check into this, or he'll, keep it on, or he'll change the cadence. And then after that, you just got to let him work. I mean, Diego's definitely I think Diego's the smartest quarterback I ever played with. And I don't think people realize how smart he is and how much of the offense is him out there doing his thing. Like that dude, like I said, he says up a lot of things. Like I said, he's a quarterback that knows the offense. He knows our assignments. He knows if he wants us to change something or to lock backside, he's going to tell us that. If he wants to change the point, he's going to do that. Like, he's very aware of everything, not just like his job. He's aware of all of ours. And I feel like you can tell that in the way he plays. So yeah, like I said, Diego's he does the perfect job of taking Coach K and Coach Beck's, I guess, like I said, focusing on the run, taking everything and executing it. And if you see something, he's smart enough to tweak it and take it to the next level.
Instinctual. That's the word that comes to mind to me, Joe, when you watch him, and that, when you have a player like that, that can bleed into the offensive line and the receivers and the defense. Like, but the coaching too. Like, I mean, we haven't talked about Coach Beck. I mean, he's obviously up for the Broyles Award. Jordan White is up for the I forget what is it the center, the best center in the country, I think, and you guys are
I
up
think it's the Remington. I think it's called.
Remington. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Joe Moore, you guys are up for the Joe Moore. Like these awards coming up are going to show. I mean, I think people already know. Still, the level of disrespect, like Joe talked about, there's some nonsense going on. But once these awards start rolling in, and they will, I think people are going to realize, Joe, just how talented player-wise these guys are, but also the coaching staff.
For sure, man. I mean, whether or not, obviously, we worked hard for those awards. But ideally, hopefully, they all come to us. But if not, I mean, the one thing that never lies is the tape. And, I think you turn on Vanderbilt tape, and it kind of speaks for itself. So yeah.
Yeah, I know one of the things that Coach Lee was talking a lot about is the blind resume, and I think that shows it pretty clear. I mean, if you take names away from the win-loss record and the score sheet and the stat sheet, then it really does speak for itself, right? But man, to touch back on the O-line room again, man, like from what I see, you guys are a really tight-knit bunch. I mean, if somebody gets, someone comes up to you guys and starts talking to someone in a bad way, all four of you, the rest of you guys are showing up in full force. Like it just looks like you guys are just a unified group, on and off the field. Tell me how that's kind of been like. How are the guys off the field? Because on the field, man, you guys do some damage out there, and it's fun to see you all deliver that ass beating every week. But how are the guys off the field versus on?
I mean, it's the same way. I mean, we all have each other's backs on and off the field. Like I said, kind of mentioned, like our room is so unique and so different, but we all mesh so well. And like I said, everyone's super cool. Like it doesn't matter if you're a starter or you don't really play that much, or whether you're a young guy or old guy. Like our room is actually, like I said, super cool. And man, we just get along so well. Like there's just so much. Like I said, I feel like O line, like in just how hard we work, we're like in our own little world at times. And man, we always got each other's backs, and we know we know how hard we've worked for all this. And I feel like that's
Yeah,
what just made this so tight so quick. But yeah, man, like our room is crazy. Like our guys are wild. Like guys like Chase Mitchell, like he's a character. Um, Bryce is a character. Jordan Cade, like everyone's actually a character. I mean,
yeah,
we have even like the backups. Like we have this 6'9" kid uh from England. Like that dude, that dude's wild. Like he's so our room's actually so funny and like so random, but it's so cool, man. Like yeah, we're we're all really tight off the field. I feel like we hang out a good amount off the field and just connect and just fellowship and just feed off on each other.
yeah, man. One thing too, that I wanted to ask, being like you said, really close group. All you guys are very, very talented individually, but you guys also have your individual aspirations and stuff in your own career. Is there an offensive lineman in the NFL that you really like to watch? And then collectively, is there a team offensive line in the NFL that you really like to watch?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up a Niners fan, so like by default, Trent Williams. I mean, it's kind of hard to watch Trent Williams because he's such a freak. It's kind of hard to kind of to take his game and do it yourself. But I watch Niners O line. I watch Niners games all the time. But as guys that I feel like I can relate kind of more to, he's out this year. But Rashawn Slater, he got hurt. I watch a lot of his tape. I feel like I can relate to him and play like him a lot. And then the other one I would say is Troy Fautanu. He went to Washington, was first round draft pick for the Steelers, right tackle. Kind
Right.
of like I said, similar play style, similar size, and I actually talk with both of them a lot, and they'll give me pointers, and I'll send them clips and whatnot. And they'll kind of help me different things. So those are two guys that I feel like I kind of relate to a lot, and have actually poured into me a lot too, with helping me out with different film and technique. But I
That's
would say
awesome.
that for the O line and those two guys that I feel like I can relate to the most.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of other O linemen, I'm always interested to ask this, especially after a regular season. This obviously you've got the five starters. I think what's really interesting, you guys were able to stay healthy this year. I mean, Sterling Sterling Porcher obviously had some reps. Gunnar Givens had some reps as well. But really outside, for the most part, the starting five stayed healthy for the most part. Now you got bangs and bruises, of course, late in the season, but I thought that was a big part of your guys' success. But speaking of guys like Givens and Orion Irving, you've got CJ Williams, a young kid back there, Cooper Starks, who has earned his keep, obviously. Because you guys Vanderbilt went out, and Joe and I talked about it, got all five of you guys out of the portal. And that can be tough to do and tough to replicate year in, year out. Not saying that won't happen this year, but tell us a little bit about some of those younger guys coming up, some of the guys that maybe we didn't see a whole lot of this year that we could see on the O-line next year as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think Vandy has a good eye for O-linemen in the portal. I mean, even the guys that didn't really play this year, like Sterling's a vet. Like, he came in, and anytime he came in, there was no drop off. Like, he handled business like a vet, and he's amazing to have around. Clem, like I said, the 6'9" kid I told you that we got from NAU, Clem's a freak. And when he gets polished, there's no reason he shouldn't be a top round guy. By the time it's said and done. So Clem's a freak of nature. Orion Irving, Sam Houston, like he's a baller too. Like he got a pretty good amount of playing time here and there towards the end when some guys kind of got a little banged up here and there, and he, like I said, there's no drop off with him. He's really smart. He can play any position. Gunnar Givens, he went from D line to O line, and just to see his growth from spring ball to now, I'm actually so proud of Gunnar. Like he really attacked it hard, and just to see his transformation, like Gunner's a baller. Even like the younger guys, like CJ, like she has gotten so much better. Cooper's gotten so much better. Even Ted was a D lineman. Ted literally flipped from D line, I think, after spring. So he flipped in the summer, and just to see him from the summer to now. And like I said, I think it kind of just goes to show Coach K setting the foundation for guys. And like I said, we practice hard, so it's like it's gonna click sooner or later for guys. And then just like I said, if you're not, on the ones and twos, then you're on the scout team, and then if you're on scout, you get to go against our D line, who I think is one of the best D lines in the SEC. And I mean, it's hard to not get better when you're going against those guys, like Corday and Cape every day. So yeah, man, I feel like next year is going to be. I'm really excited for the O-line, for the guys that we have. I'm sure they'll go grab a couple guys out the portal, but as far as what we have right now, I feel like we're stacked.
Yeah. Speaking of Gunner, him and I were propping open the hood of his car trying to get to start the other day, because we live in the same building, and holy cow, that was a mess. But anyway, on a lighter note than that, and I know we're kind of coming up on time with you, man, but and it's definitely a little lighter note. If you really got to hurt somebody's feelings on the other team, who are you bringing to trash talk them from Vandy?
Like on the O-line?
It can be O-line. It could be anybody.
I don't know. Chase is good at trash talking. Chase Mitchell.
If you really want to get under somebody's skin, who are you bringing with you?
It might be Chase. Chase Mitchell's pretty bad. I mean, as far as the offense, I feel like I don't really hear the receivers too much. Running backs, I feel like don't talk too crazy. Diego, I feel like he's crazy, but I don't know if I hear him talk that crazy. I don't know. I guess I hear the O-lineman. So Chase Mitchell.
Yeah.
Either Chase gets after it, or Cade. Cade likes to troll. Like Cade, I don't know if he talks trash. He just trolls like the other team the whole game. Like Cade might be worse than like Chase, who talks trash. Cade just trolls them. He just messes around with them the whole game.
He's throwing around some rage bait.
Yeah, just crack it. Like Cade might be worse than Chase, actually, because Cade sometimes gets under my skin. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, he's trolling every player all the time, 24/7. Field goal. He's cracking jokes, making fun of dudes, and it's stupid. This stupid stuff. So I don't know. I guess Chase or Cade.
Okay. All right.
Cade, I think Cade is like the vice president, the co-vice president of the pancake club there at Cracker Barrel after the LSU game.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was nuts. I didn't realize what happened when he did it. when the play happened, his guy went flying to me. I was like, oh, bet. I didn't know he went over and went and killed someone else.
Yeah. Well, I remember watching it. Like I was looking at the second hit, sort of like the second pancake, and I was watching it, and it was going viral on Twitter. People kept watching. And I was like, it's a pancake, But and then I kept watching it further. I was like, man, he pancaked the first guy too. It happened so fast.
Yeah. I set my DN dropped. I looked in, and his guy went flying across my face on the ground. I said, "Oh shoot! All right, like my job's here done."
Yeah,
No,
I think that was against LSU, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect, man. Perfect. I'm from LSU country, so they can get smoked all they want.
Well, man, I thank you for the time, man. This was awesome, and getting the O-line perspective, whether it's Coach K, playing with Diego and playing with you guys. Obviously, up for the Joe Moore Award, one of the best offensive lines in the country. That is clear, and looking forward to that. I know you guys are gonna be thrilled for that. But man, and Joe, thank you for always for setting this up. But Isaiah, get back to the prep, get the exams done, and enjoy the next few weeks of practice with the team. But can't thank you enough for hopping in, man.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, bro. That was awesome.
That's Vanderbilt offensive lineman Isaia Glass. Man, I mean, you hit on it there, Joe, at the end. His improvement and really the entire group's improvement. Because watching fall camp, I know you were at some fall camp practices. They had to. I mean, it was 5 new guys, right? And we hit on that, and that's not easy to do. But obviously, it's a credit to Coach K, Coach Nady, and those guys, because I mean, ultimately, it's at the end of the day, it's the players that go out there and block for Diego and. I mean, seriously, like in Knoxville, I wanted to hit a little bit more on that game in Knoxville, but like could have ran a Mack truck through some of those holes, man.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal group of guys. I mean, they're all really great people, and that seems to be kind of the theme for Vanderbilt is a lot of great people doing things the right way, the way it's supposed to be done. And man, what a group! Because like you talk about, Coach Lee says band of misfits. We're all a bunch of misfits coming together and playing complimentary football. And it's never going to be perfect, but this O-line has played so well. Every single guy that's contributed to that offensive line, deserves the credit. I wish we could go down the roster of every guy in that offensive line room and just say thank you, because I mean they've done such a good job of coming together from different backgrounds and different schools. I mean, like we talked about the starting 5. I think you said Billy, and I think you're right. They're all transfer guys. So you talk about mixing and matching guys who have a chip on their shoulder. We talked about that a good bit. Of hey, that's what kind of Coach Lee and I mean Barton want to bring in, is those guys that have a chip on their shoulder. And golly, they've done a phenomenal job. So hats off to them. They're up for the Joe Moore Award, and boy, do they deserve that. Hey, Billy, I think we lost audio.
Oh, I accidentally muted myself. You got me?
I got you now.
Sorry, man.
Looks like you got some editing to do.
Nah, we'll be fine. Hey, I was just hitting on, you mentioned the Joe Moore. We'll see when that gets announced. But Coach Beck with the Broyles, and obviously Pavia with the Heisman, like I think people are really going to start realizing what this team was all about this year. But people also realizing what you're all about, Joe. And again, cannot thank you enough as we kind of close out this year, this kind of year of football coverage. It's always been brought to you by Bulovas Wealth Management of Raymond James. If there's one thing we'll all share, that our lives are all unique. At Raymond James, they believe that is worth celebrating. So whether you're building a future right now or preparing for retirement a little bit down the road, Joe can guide you each step of the way, all while following a plan that's uniquely yours, easily customizable. That's the best part about it. And that's life well planned. So if you'd like to learn more in regards to Joe Bulovas Wealth Management, give him a call, 615-645-6742. Raymond James and Associates Incorporated, member New York Stock Exchange, SIPC. You can also log on to raymondjames.com/Bulovas Wealth Management for more info. Joe, still got your offer rolling in. What you got for the theme this week, my man?
Well, we don't really have a theme this week. I mean, I think we could make the theme the committee, just being biased. That's the theme of the week.
The nonsense.
Bunch of nonsense. But we're holding our free financial planning reviews, and I'm going to extend that all the way through February timeframe. So, and that's everything under that umbrella. So, like, if you have questions about insurance, have questions about your investments, your true retirement vehicles of the IRAs, and even estate planning. Like, estate planning is very, very important, and it's really important that you have that squared away, because the last thing we would need is for something terrible to happen, or when that time does come down the road, you want everything to be squared away. You don't want to have any questions when there shouldn't be at all. Um, and that's putting your loved ones first at the end of the day. So we're holding out those reviews all the way through February. Happy to have conversations with anybody and at least point you in the right direction. So we'll always give give you our best and put you in the best position, whether that's with us or outside.
There it is. And again, website, raymondjames.com/Bulovas Wealth Management. Just kind of wrapping it up. We won't go too crazy long here. And obviously we got some time before the bowl. But Joe, speaking of Raymond James
Stadium. Yeah.
That's a good merge opportunity there, Joe. I'd get down to Tampa if I were you, but no, this is really cool, I think, because Vanderbilt hasn't played in a Florida bowl. One of the this used to be called the Outback Bowl for forever. And, you've had the Capital One Bowl, the Orange and the Citrus. Vanderbilt hasn't played in one of those since 1955. And obviously they've only made,
that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, the crazier thing is they've only made 11 bowls in their program's history. So, just a huge accomplishment. And I know that the disappointment is still there, in regards to not making the playoff, still ranked at number 14, which I think is maybe the most ridiculous part of it all. But there is another game to be played. Vanderbilt, obviously, like I said, 14th ranked right now, minus 4.5 point favorite over number 23 Iowa. Again, head on over to FanDuel if you want to sprinkle a few bucks over there. Also, the Heisman Trophy ceremony will be on Saturday night, and if I'm not mistaken, the finalists get announced tomorrow. I think I heard that, Joe.
You know better than I do.
I could be wrong there, and I'll check on that. But Mendoza, after they're calling it legendary performance in the Big Ten title game against Ohio State.
He completed a few passes, and he's
he's
Tom Brady now. Golly,
threw a slot fade, and that's legendary. But no, he's now the favorite at minus 3,000. Pavia is the next best there with odds at plus 1,400. So still, really good value if you want to sprinkle a few bucks on Pavia. So head on over to FanDuel to do that. But Joe, look, we're disappointed. The team's disappointed. I think at this point, you start to turn your attention to Iowa, a good Iowa team, 8-4, and an Iowa team. Yeah, that's an Iowa team that they're better offensively. They're really good defensively, but Clark they'll do a good job of that. But man, I think for this group, it's cool to see them with a big bowl, a New Year's Eve bowl. It's at 11 a.m. It'll be a big audience. This is the team deserved a playoff berth, but this is still a good way to honor them.
Yeah. You got to count your blessings here. Last year we're barely making a bowl game, and we're going 3 hours down the road down to Birmingham. And for anybody who was at that game, it was cold as shiznit, and
it was ugly.
It was wet. It was cold. Yeah. It was wet. It was just a miserable game, but we ended up winning, so it was a great game. But now we get to go to a New Year's Six bowl. We get to go down there, or is it a New Year's Six bowl?
It's not. It's on New Year's
but it's
Eve.
We'll just call it a New Year's Day bowl.
Yeah, we'll just go with it.
Yeah. But this team deserves to be playing on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve, and they've done a phenomenal job. Now, I think what I'm really encouraged to see is not many guys openly opting out to go into the portal and not play.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't seen any of that yet. My buddy Drew Dickey just hit the portal, or declared that those were his intentions to hit the portal. Great guy. He can play anywhere, I feel like. But you haven't seen that for the grander scale, starters or backups. You haven't seen that too much, which is encouraging because guys are focused on the right stuff rather than getting washed in the mud of what college football has outside of the 120-yard field. So guys are focused. It seems like I know the guys are disappointed. I have to think that they're going to turn this into fuel rather than, when you're in a hole, you hand the guy a ladder, not a shovel.
Yeah.
Guys need to get on the ladder and not pick up the shovel when they're in moments of disappointment. So
Hmm.
I think this is a really great opportunity to make a huge statement going into next year, because a New Year's bowl game win carries a lot of weight,
Yep.
especially against a very quality opponent in Iowa. Iowa's always good. They're always
Yep.
a very solid team. Um, that's just who they are. They
Hmm.
have their identity of who they are as a team, and by golly, like as long as I can remember, that's one of the most consistent programs in America.
Yep.
So a win against a team like that is a huge accomplishment for Vandy, and they need to go do it. And I
Yeah.
believe they will.
Well, a chance to get your 11th win. I mean, you kind of back to back. You never had 10 wins. You got your 10th in Neyland. Now you can go.
11 wins is an elite number. Well, like
Yeah.
especially with the way
Yeah.
it used to be. When you only had 4 teams in the playoff,
Yeah.
and now you got hell after
Well,
this year you probably have 37. But
yeah.
that if you get to the 11th win mark and you only play one game out of regular season, that's a really great run.
Yeah.
Let's take that as it is. That is a great season. These guys deserve all the credit. They need to go have a blast that week, practice hard, and enjoy the game.
Well, I mean, you mentioned that, Joe. There are a few playoff teams that may not even get their 11th win. Oklahoma's playing Alabama, so there's going to be, one of them is going to lose. Obviously, Miami. Of course, they're 10-2, so you've got a chance to say, "Hey, we got to 11," while a couple of playoff teams did not. And of course, you got Tulane and James Madison in there, which is just unbelievable. I mean, I think we figured Tulane would be in there, but James Madison is taking a spot. No disrespect to them, but I mean that the system needs
the rules,
to be fixed.
It's the system, right? It's the way that it's set up. You can't dislike the team because people drew up these rules. This is how it's supposed to be. And is it fair? No, it's not fair.
Don't shoot the
tried
messenger type deal.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Don't shoot the messenger. Hate the sin, not the sinner. Like it's kind of it's a weird dilemma because obviously I think a lot of people are just being real quiet about their feelings about Vandy if they probably think Vandy should be in, even if they're not Vandy fans. I think a lot of people are in their corner and they just don't want to say so. But yeah, I mean, we should have one of those 2 spots. But the way the rules are written up, hey, that's how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah. Well, and look, like I said, it's got to be fixed somehow. And I do think this is the type of year to have that fix, hopefully next season. I mean, when these commissioners meet and talk about the playoff and what they're going to do to change it. I mean, Notre Dame, that's a storied program. I know, we got the Notre Dame jokes, but them not being in is
poor guys, man. They can't even they can't play their bowl game. Ugh. I feel so bad for them, man. Golly. Has anybody done a welfare check on that program? You should be the one to do that. You're still an ND guy.
Look, I wasn't surprised. I mean, because you got to the head-to-head with Miami. I didn't love the fact that they opted out of the bowl game. Did not like that.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah,
Opting out. I don't understand why you do that. I mean, could you imagine if you're a senior and you're not going to go play in the NFL and your coach or the leadership group says, "No, we're not playing in our bowl game"?
Yeah,
that is ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm with you. And
that's shameful.
Look, yeah, it really is. And I think for Vanderbilt, that's the polar opposite of Vanderbilt's program. I'm not going to sit here and say they're polar opposite of Notre Dame's program, but that decision, Clark would never do that. And the coaches and the leadership, like he was asked about it today at his presser and said, no, we enjoy playing football. And we're going to go play. He said Diego's going to play and Eli's going to play. And look, I'm sure there may be a few opt-outs, but I don't think. I mean, I think you'll have your team intact. If you're Vanderbilt, and that is a credit to this program, Joe. And speaking of FanDuel, I talked about them earlier. I'm not encouraging betting, but take Vandy in the points here because I don't, Joe. This could be ugly. Just Vanderbilt making a statement. And we'll have more time to talk about this game, but Iowa could be in for a for a tough day.
Well, if I'm Vandy, I'm running up the score. Like
That's what Georgia did a couple years ago.
Yeah, I mean it was Florida State. I believe it was
against
right?
Florida. Yeah, I think Georgia
Yeah.
played Florida State, right?
Yeah, it was in the. I want to say it might have been. Hell, it might have been the Sugar Bowl. I don't know
either
what
the
game.
Sugar or the Peach or one of those. Yeah,
It was one of those because I remember being in a dome, and I remember looking at the score somewhere along the line. I was like, yeah, it was an absolute just kicking, dog. Like you can't even put into words. And they were like ranked, what was Florida State ranked at the time? They were all, complaining and moaning about not getting in the playoff, and they get whooped.
Yeah. Well, and I think if you're Notre Dame, you were the first team out, and they may be looking at that, going, our team's out of it mentally, but still, I'm not, I don't like the fact they opted out. But Joe, I think we could see something like that. And look, respect to Iowa, Mark Gronowski, I think it's a really interesting quarterback matchup. Gronowski, they got, I think he played with one of the Dakotas, pretty good quarterback. But typical Iowa defense, I think the defense of Iowa against that Vanderbilt offense should be fun to watch. But interested to see the crowd too. It's quite the haul from Nashville, but it is New Year's Eve. It's a holiday, so it's not like you're playing. I think the Birmingham was on the 27th, so kind of a tough. Some people might have been working, kind of in.
Is it New Year's Eve or New Year's Day when they play?
It's New Year's Eve at 11 a.m. So
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So you're gonna go check out the headquarters?
Man, I go to the headquarters probably once every 6 months, typically.
It's in Tampa, right?
Yeah, it's in St. Pete. So, and also, Billy, I need to get you one of these guys, one of these Raymond James
that
mugs.
Thing's sweet, man.
So you can sip
I like it.
your coffee with in our podcast with me. But
we can do that.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, St. Pete is a great place to hang out. Tampa's a great place to hang out. That whole corridor is really, really pretty. So when I go down there, I sometimes will stay an extra day and just kind of hang out and go see the beach.
I went there for a hockey game, saw a Lightning game, and I think the Tampa style is like they have a couple bars right across the arena, Amalie Arena, and you're looking out to the water. And open air, it's really cool vibe. Now I haven't been to Raymond James Stadium, but for Vandy
it's
fans,
right by the airport. Like literally, as soon as the airport's pretty small, so as soon as you get off the airplane, you can see the stadium from the walkway to go to the ride share and the taxis and all that good stuff. But the stadium's right there. So it's probably about 2-3 miles down the road from the airport. You can see it on the flight in. It's really neat. It really is.
Yeah, it's not Jacksonville, and I think it's even better. I mean, I think I would rank Tampa ahead of Orlando too. I mean,
So we played in the Citrus Bowl, and the Camping World's a cool little stadium, but I think Raymond James is a little bit neater because I mean Orlando's got a smaller market over there.
Yeah, they still got the pirate ship up there in the end zone, I think. So
they
had the national title there against Clemson, right?
Yeah, that was the year before I got to Alabama.
Year
so that was
before you got there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I think for Vandy fans that can make the trip and don't have plans and can do it, encourage everybody to go down. We know the Pavia is going to be there. We know I know a few people going down there. But it's just going to be cool to see this team on that stage in this opportunity. But I don't think I'm making the trip, but it'll be fun. I mean, and it's not the Birmingham Bowl. It's not the Music City. It's not the Liberty. This is a bigger stage. And I think on that same day, Ohio State plays that night against whoever wins. I forget what game it is, but it's a day with big games. New Year's Eve is typically a day with a lot of other big games. So, so big stage, but Joe, we'll probably hop back on eventually. And again, man, I can't thank you enough for securing these guys, whether it's Isaiah, obviously had Bresnahan, Jordan Matthews. I'm trying to think who else we've had. MK, of course.
MK.
This group.
Jordan Matthews, both Jordan Matthews.
Both, yeah. This group, you got a few weeks left with this team. I guess about a month.
Yeah, it's crazy. Football season has completely flown by. I mean, we were looking at it now, and we've got one game left, and that's the bowl game. And after that, it's it's on to basketball. If you're a basketball fan, there you go. But we'll be kissing football goodbye till spring ball ish. But we won't see another Vandy football game till September. Of 26.
Yeah. Well, it has flown by, and Vandy fans are luckily able to watch a machine of a basketball team too. But all kinds of portal coverage come in, and I think that's become one of the more fun parts as a fan to kind of track who you're getting in the portal. That's kind of the free agency, the signing day, sort of the draft, free agency with the portal, and it's chaos ensues. So
it's wild. It's wild. It's almost like you could probably do some sports betting on these transfers and recruits.
Where are they
and stuff
going?
Like that. I'm sure that's I'm sure that's already out there. But I'm so much. I just hate losing, and I guess that's probably why I hate losing money, and I also hate losing. But I guess it's why that's a good thing. I'm in the line of work that I am in, because losing money don't feel good. So we'll just avoid that altogether.
Yeah. Well, you bet on yourself, and we bet on you here with the sponsorship, Joe. Again, can't thank you enough. And we've got all kinds of bowl coverage coming up. Obviously, Vanderbilt signing class will be getting wrapped up. We'll be getting portal guys coming in and out. So we'll keep it coming, and like I said, we'll hop back on here eventually, sooner rather than later. But for Joe Bulovas, I'm Billy Derrick. Thanks again, everybody, for checking in to another episode of the Star V Podcast.